Hi, this is Antje Boyd.
And this is Brody Boyd.
And we are the creators of the Attraction Alchemy online show. So we're really excited for you to dive right into the next expert/character interview and discover the magic formulas for you to attract your forever love.
We'll see you there.
Mwah. Welcome back to the Attraction Alchemy. I'm your fierce leader, Antje Boyd, and I help you to become the enchantress who grants her own wishes and manifest a forever love. And today is no different. Today is no different. We're having so much fun, ladies. It's all about today into your life. And today we have a really amazing expert, Lisa Shield, here with me today. And she's going to tell us in a little bit what she chose as her archetype, which I think is a very potent archetype, that when we bring it into our everyday life, your whole perspective in life and what's possible is totally going to shift. But before I do that, let me tell you a little bit more about this amazing lady here right in front of me. All right, so Lisa, she's a love, dating, and heart-opening ninja in Los Angeles with 17 years of experience. Lisa has a master's degree in spiritual psychology and is a certified life and relationship coach. She has been a featured expert in the HuffPo, BuzzFeed, LA Times, and Cosmopolitan. She was also a guest on ABC News and the famous Millionaire Matchmaker. Last year, 12 of Lisa's LA clients were married, and guess what, ladies? She was asked to officiate 4 of those weddings. So she and her husband, Benjamin, who, by the way, is a total sweetheart, are passionately in love after 17 years. So do you think this woman has a little bit of a wisdom here to share with you? You bet. They live in LA with their 2 dogs, Milo and Owen. So welcome, Lisa.
Hi, Antje. It's great to be back. It's so good to see you again.
I know. I just love chatting with you. And I'm learning so much for your reflections and your deep insights. So because of that, what is the archetype you've chosen for the ladies to be on that attraction alchemy journey?
So interestingly enough, we had talked and I had no clue, right? And you said, why don't you ask Benjamin? I think he'll know. And that was actually the perfect thing to do, because me coming up with my own was a little weird. But he looked at me last night. We sat down and I told him about this, and he said, he just looked at me and he said, corazón. He said, heart.
Oh.
So that's what I chose.
Oh, so tell us more about that heart, like what it really represents, and why is it so important for the single women? Except because we see the heart on all the different love, inviting programs and all of that, right? But yet so often the last place we single women go to is the heart. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's ironic, but I think it's ironic that we're women and so many of us are so out of touch or disconnected from our heart. Mm-hmm. Because I think that that's really what we bring to the relationship is a connection to heart, and that we can bring men into their hearts when they're with us. And so, but when you have 2 people that are sitting across from each other, so many people, I'm sure you hear this from your clients all the time. They go on dates and they'll say, we sat there and we talked for 2, 3, 5 hours, and then I never heard from him again. Mm-hmm. And I really do think that the conversation was interesting and he was engaged with you at the intellectual level, but it never got to the heart level. Mm-hmm. And so even though the conversation, it was an interesting conversation, it was certainly worth investing those hours of time. But the reason you didn't hear from him again is because you were both up here and not here.
Yeah, totally. So what would you say, how do you know right out of the gate when single women come to you that you were bringing an example, right? For example, okay, they go on a date. What else, how else would they know that they're not in their heart? Because sometimes we don't even know, right? We're thinking we're doing the best we can. I was certainly one of them. I thought I was super emotional, available. And then I was like sitting in church. I'm like, why is everyone crying at this song? You know, it's like not sad. So that's how much of a shell and a stone I had around my heart. And if you would have told me that, I would have thought, oh, this doesn't apply to me. I'm totally open, right? So how do women know when they're not in their heart?
And Antia, it's important to say you can feel open, and you can feel like you're available and still not being in your heart, right?
Love that.
You are an extremely open person just by nature. Like, one of the things I know about you, is that you're super open. But we can be open and willing to try things and excited about new things and all of that, but it doesn't mean that we're in our heart. And so when the way I know women aren't in their heart is because they're up here, they're trying to figure things out. They're intellectualizing everything. They're not talking about dating in terms of, how can I open my heart and connect with this man and make a deep soul connection? And why am I not connecting with men? Why are we not getting to that soul level? Most of the time when I talk to women, there's no good men. Where do I go? What dating site do I pick? Where am I going to meet him?
Yeah.
How do I strategize? Like, okay, I'm too aggressive, so I'll lean back more. They're strategizing. They're up here. This is a very mental approach.
Right.
The questions that they should be asking are, how do I make a man feel like a man in my company? How do I pull out? Not, there are no good men, I can't meet any good men. It's okay when I'm sitting across from a man, how do I connect with him? How do I get him to get into his heart by me getting, how do I get into my heart so that he can get into his?
Right. Totally.
So they're strategizing, they're planning, they're trying to figure things out, right? They're not speaking from love, compassion. That's a whole different focus.
That's so true. And so so let's talk about that, right? Like, what are some of the ways? And I also know you have a meditation too for them. So
yes,
be like, you could talk about it all day long, but it doesn't, experience beats all of that, right?
Yeah.
So what can single women start doing, right? Like, in addition to what you mentioned, to really have this open, deep connected relationship to men, like really being in their heart and touching the man's heart as well, which, because ladies, men have a heart. I know, contrary to a popular belief, right? That's the last thing that you hear, but it's really true.
Well, and it is true that it's women, and by the way, another thing that you said was you can still be emotional and not be in your heart. Right? Just because you're having emotions doesn't mean you're in your heart or connected to your heart. In fact, if you were connected to your heart, your emotions wouldn't be out of control.
Okay.
Right? When you're connected to your heart and you're listening to your heart and you're speaking from your heart and coming from your heart, you're not going to be spinning out of control emotionally. That's really what it means to have a head and heart connection.
So let's talk more about that, because I think a lot of women are sitting here now with a question mark and they're like, what? Like there's a difference? I thought it was in my heart. So how do I know? Like, let's take that example that you just said, right? So I'm emotionally all over the place versus being in my heart, right? Like, how does it look like emotionally for me when I'm in my heart?
Well, the problem is your emotions are out of control because you're not listening to your heart.
And then, in which ways do women not listen to their heart, would you say?
They're not listening with compassion. You know, the heart is about kindness and compassion and forgiveness.
Yeah.
And when you're listening from those places, you hear very differently. So your inner child wouldn't be spinning out of control if you were listening to her from your heart. She's spinning out of control because you're not hearing her.
Oh, yeah, that's so true, right? Like, and that's so funny because we're like, yeah, we just put it to the side. We're like, we just pretend nothing happened, right? But have you ever tried that with a toddler that is throwing a tantrum?
Right.
Like, how's that going for you? You know, like, right? Like, have you tried it with a toddler who wants to have their lollipop?
Well, Auntie, I actually intentionally don't have toddlers.
Yeah.
Never have, never will. But I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You know, and they're yelling and screaming because they don't feel like they're being listened to.
Exactly. But that's it. So what is like one way? What's a good practice? And again, I know you have a meditation for us.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a moment.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
I think, you know, the simplest, I mean, everything starts with a breath, right? Everything in life starts with a breath. So first to start to take a breath, you know, and give yourself, if you go on a date or if you're spinning out of control or you feel the floor dropping out from underneath you, is to first start with the breath, you know, connect your body, and then even, you know, ask your heart, what do I need right now?
So ladies, you can even do that for a second. Just like put your hand on your heart. Because you can't think in your mind when you have, right? Like when you're touching physically your heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just, you know, sometimes just pause when you're spinning out of control and just put your hands on your heart and say, you know, Lisa, what do you need right now? What do you need from me?
Yeah.
You know, and listen.
Yeah.
You know, I need space. I need to take a nap. I need to cry. I need for you to tell me it's going to be okay. I need to hear that we're going to get through this. I don't know what your heart is going to tell you, but I bet if you stop trying to get your needs met from out there and you start really listening to your own heart,
right?
You know, your own heart, and you know, you start to be able to hear what you need. And if you give it to yourself, you're not going to be this wild child running around like trying to get men or validation or friends or whatever to fill you up.
Yeah. And I can already feel that like in your voice as well. Let it really resound, that frequency of the heart. Right? If you compare that to the frequency of the mind.
Yep.
I mean, it's totally different, right? It's slower, I would say,
it's
right?
Slower. It's totally, Antia. Totally.
And you know, it's interesting. One way how I remember it, like I can be stressed, you know what I mean, come into the house. But when I see my husband, you know, I'm just like dropping into my heart and just send him the most loving, like, hi, babe, you know, hello, you know. And I just like go and stress over my things again, right? But like, you just be like, okay, you know, like I don't want him to have to like feel that right away. He just got up, you know, I've been already running around for 2 hours or whatever, right? Or he's in the middle of a morning routine or whatever, you know? And so like, I can really feel when it drops. And I also know when I'm not in it. I'm just like, okay, stop. Right?
Yeah, totally. And I know because I've seen you and Brody together, and it's like, you know, it's so amazing when we're that in love with a partner and like all you got to do is look at them, you know, like, I mean, I don't know. What I heard you saying is I just see him and it's like, babe, and it's like you light up.
Totally. Yeah, like, you know, from I was like saying today, I'm like, that's amazing. You can just like switch like that. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, it's like a field. It's like magic, you know.
It is.
It's love, you know.
It really is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
And that it really takes like the heart opening, right? That you lead us through this heart opening, you know, like meditation. So women can drop into that space too, because
yeah. So should we do it? Should we do that meditation while we have time?
So ladies are like, okay, let's see what that actually feels, you know?
All right, ladies, we are going to do a little meditation here. So if you are driving and listening to this, do not close your eyes. That would be a really bad idea. We want you to get home safely. It's important to open your heart, but not that important. So just like, you know, if you are at home, maybe you want to lie down or sit down or just put your feet on the floor and kind of ground yourself. And just let's take a moment and just take a couple of breaths. All right. And just sit or lie comfortably. Soften your eyes and allow your mind to relax. And then make sure your spine is long, your neck is long, and your shoulders are relaxed downward. Close your eyes and begin to place your attention on your breath. With each breath, allow any tension that is in your body to be released. Take a moment and scan your entire body and notice where there's tension. Breathe into that space and just let those places of tension dissolve with each inhale and each exhale. Consciously let go and allow yourself to feel deeply relaxed. Now place your attention on the Anahata or heart chakra. How does this space feel? Is there tension, gripping, contraction, or holding of any kind? If so, breathe feelings of safety, security, and deep relaxation into your heart. And then notice the sensations in your heart center. It might feel open and free of stress. It might feel as if there's a blockage of energy. It could feel light or heavy. Whatever the sensation is, just allow it to be. Just be with it, sending it loving thoughts, the same as you would a small child you adore. And just keep breathing into your heart and letting any tension or stress go. And now, if you'd like, ask your heart a question or two and see what comes up. Perhaps you want to know how to be more patient, more feminine, more self-accepting, more playful, or more vulnerable. Perhaps you want to know how to open your heart wider and stay in your heart more often. And just listen for the answer. And as you do, notice how different the answer or answers are when you ask your heart, as opposed to when you're answering with your head. And continue to breathe and just sit with this new awareness. And if you haven't already, I want you to place both hands over your heart and continue to inhale and exhale through your nose. And then exhale through your mouth. Ask yourself, how does it feel to place my hands over this tender area, this place where I experience love for self and others? And then return your focus once more to your breath. And just feel the flow of air moving into your lungs and then back out into the world. And with each exhale, imagine you are releasing any negative thoughts that may be lingering in your mind. Continue focusing on your breath, and on each inhale, think, I am worthy. And on each exhale, I am enough. Let each inhale draw in self-love, and each exhale release what is no longer serving you. And just take a few minutes to breathe and recite this mantra internally to yourself. I am worthy. I am enough. I am worthy. I am enough. Allow a sensation of warmth to fill you from head to toe. And just breathe here and know that love is always available for you when you need it. And once again, just notice how those simple words, I am worthy, I am enough. I am worthy, I am enough. Notice how full your heart feels right now. And when you're ready, take a few more deep, mindful breaths and then softly open your eyes. And then bring your hands into prayer position at your heart center and take a bow to your heart and tell it that you'll be with it again soon. And thank it for its loving wisdom and guidance.
Ladies, we're just sitting here. Serenity, purity. Wow, that was really beautiful.
Yeah, and you can just feel, right? Like, how does your heart feel, Antia?
Just like so much like softer and relaxed, like really like released, just like in the moment, present. Yeah, like it's just like a little glow coming up, like very peaceful.
Yeah,
that's how it feels like. Like, oh yeah, I'm on an interview. I was like left a little bit, like I'm into a different dimension.
That's so sweet.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You have such a beautiful, soothing energy. And
thank you so much. And one of the things about doing work on your heart, like really opening up your heart and being in a loving relationship is that it really it continues to expand you, right? Like being in love. When so many women say, like, I don't need a man, but I want a man and all this stuff, I don't know, like, because I know your relationship, Antia, but being in love and feeling loved in the world by somebody, that's part of what has helped me feel safe enough to open my heart.
Yeah.
And I feel so loved and seen in the world, right? And when you give yourself the gift of partnership and you really do reach these heights in relationships, and when you have 17 years of you know, you can wave that wand again if you want.
Right? Like 70 years.
70 years of amazing, like,
Yes.
fantasy love, you know, like being in a fantasy for frickin' 17 years and waking up every single day of your life just knowing that like the best man on the planet loves you. You know, a feeling like that. I mean, I'm not saying he's my best man on the planet, but he loves me, the one that loves me, I love. So when you wake up every day, you know, I can't even imagine knowing what I know, that women are not like, I would be doing everything in my power to figure out how to get this.
Yeah, totally.
Like sometimes I can't understand when I talk to women and they're just like, well, you know, if I don't ever have it, like I'm okay. And I'm like, whatever, lady.
You don't know what's on the other side. That's why you're saying that. You know what I mean?
I mean, we've all been hurt. We've all had our hearts broken. We've all made bad choices. We've, you know, right?
Oh yeah. I have like all my journals sitting right next to me since 2006. I started going through all of them and I'm like, oh boy, oh my God, who was that guy? You know? That's a whole different show, you know?
Exactly. Totally. And it's like, but you know, I don't know, like doing the right work and opening your heart and doing the, you know, that spiritual work to just learn how to love yourself and other people and open up and, you know, but it's out there. Like what's out there is amazing.
And, you know, I think the trick is when you short-term don't get the response from a man that you want, like, is your heart going to stay open?
Yes.
Or are you going to just like, I knew it's not going to work. Screw guys. You know what I mean? There's no good men out there. It's a dating desert, whatever, right? But that's the test, right? Because then you're just like, okay, still not ready. All right, let's start again. You know, Matt Kahn said, right, like we're just getting attached to a man because we think they make us feel a certain way. We're getting attached to a certain object, right? But once we get like that, we have to feel like this first. And then we will feel like that once we attract, quote unquote, the object or the man, right? So first, we need to feel grateful and open-hearted to have an open-hearted relationship.
Yep.
And I think that's what you so beautifully demonstrated. So what's, you know, I know you talked about all the marriages and the 4 officiations you've done. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm just going to
officiate. We'll go with it.
You know what I mean, right? I'm from Germany. You have the right to create words.
Yes, you do.
I don't know what exists in the English dictionary. But anyways, so what's like one story that's just really inspirational, especially for the women who have just a really hard time getting into their heart, like that you can share with us with like a woman that you have worked with was really able to shift in such a way?
God, there's so many stories, and you know, I'm not going to even think about it too long. I don't know why this particular client is coming up, but I'm going to, you know, this was quite a while ago. I worked with her for a long time, and this was when I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching. She's a wonderful Asian woman, and she was married once for a short period, maybe a year or so, year to 4 years, but it was not long. And she wanted partnership more than anything in the world. You know, she was living here alone. She was from Japan. She was a very introverted person. And she had been very successful in the film industry. I can't remember. I think she did design work, some kind of design work. And she'd been very, very successful, worked on great films, and she supported herself and everything. She was a black diamond skier, you know, really lovely person. And she just couldn't get it. Like she, you know, and she tried to be so open. She gave everybody a chance. And I remember I actually went and spent a couple of birthdays with her because it was heartbreaking because she couldn't imagine another year alone. She spent 1 year in a relationship with a younger guy who turned around when they were going to move in together. Like they lived long distance, and when they were going to come together, he broke it off. I mean, and then she was turning 60. And so she was ready to just give up. I mean, she really was. And she took herself off. She was going to take herself off OkCupid. And she got an email, a message from a man who was her same age. And he was in her same industry. And she normally didn't date people in her industry, but she thought, hey, what the heck? I'll have one more date before I shut it down.
Right.
Right. And she went on this date and there was no connection, just no connection. And then they came out of the coffee shop and it was a beautiful day in Los Angeles. And he said, I'm going to go take a walk. Would you like to join me? And I had always said to her, just say yes, just say yes to opportunities. And she figured I have nothing to lose. It's a beautiful day. I'll just go for a walk. And something fell away, something just, whatever had to happen, whatever magic thing, maybe the beach and the weather, and she let go and she was in her heart. And, they've been married, I think, for 4 or 5 years now.
Aww.
And one day I got this whole file folders, of Dropbox file folders of photographs. And I'm like, who's sending me all these pictures? She and her fiance had flown to Japan. Her mother was 90. And she wanted to see her mother. She wanted her mother to see her get married before she died.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure.
So, it was the cutest thing. I mean, I loved her. I'll tell you one more beautiful quick story. I had a client, Asian as well, and she was of every client, sometimes you just have, you love all your clients, but there are 1 or 2 clients that just knock it out. They're just amazing.
Totally.
She was the most precious thing in the world. And she had never been in a relationship. She had this Asian tiger mom, just never. And so I worked with her and she was a virgin, 32 years old and professor, all of really accomplished and all, but a virgin. And so, but she came to me and she was one of the people so in her heart. Oh my God. And she was so worried about how to tell this man that she was a virgin. And she said, she was so in her heart, just the way she walked through it with such grace. And we talked about how to say it. And she told him, and he looked at her and he said, yeah, I kind of figured. And she had been sweating having to tell him this. But then, I said to her, I said to her one day, well, are you going to see him again? Do you like him? And she said, well, she said, Lisa, I think I really, really like him. And she said, he kissed me. She said, and I said, well, how's it going? And she said, he kissed me quite thoroughly in the parking lot, quite thoroughly. Any American will get the humor there, but he kissed me quite thoroughly in the parking lot. And I said to her, was it good? And she said, well, you wouldn't kiss your mother like that.
Oh, it's so sweet.
So she's married with 2 kids and happy.
Aww.
But never a virgin, 32-year-old woman, a virgin, so sweet. So, but she was very in her heart. That was her first, believe it or not, he was only her first or second Match.com date. So when you're there and when it's really ready, it's amazing. It doesn't matter. People think I have to work for it. I've got to fight for love, whatever. And it's no, you got to open your heart.
Right. And I love it because for the one, it was the last OkCupid date for her was like one of the first Match.com dates, So it's like there's no rule, ladies. There's no ages, no stages. You know what I mean? It's just, it's really all about what I'm really hearing, Lisa, when you talk about this, right? Is like the willingness, to just like open the door just a little bit, just a little bit of slither of light can come in, right?
Yeah. And then a little bit more, and then a little bit more.
Yeah. So ladies, now it's time to get out your treasure map, because Lisa has one golden nugget for you.
Oh, golden nugget, love.
Yeah. So
love.
of course, because you were the heart today. So of course, what comes out of the heart, you're the gatekeeper, the wisdom keeper of love. That's what the heart really is, right? So Lisa, I could talk with you forever. I know we went already over. It's so juicy, it's so amazing.
Oh, you're
so if the women are like, I agree with you, Auntie. I could talk with Lisa forever too. Like, how can they find you? How
can they find me? Go to lisashield.com. And that is the portal to my world. You can find the link to my webinar there. I think there's a wonderful ebook about texting called Textuality. You can see my blog, all of those goodies. So,
okay. Awesome.
Lots and lots of ways to follow me and get to know me, and even, eventually jump on a call with me if you want to.
Awesome. And ladies, the link for that is below the video. So just click that and it will usher you right over to Lisa's website. Well, Lisa, it's always such a treat. I learned so much. My heart is open for the next for the day. The day's almost over. I want the day to be just starting.
Very sweet, honey.
Oh, thank you so much, Lisa. And
thank you.
Ladies, I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't you just love the unique characters and the golden nuggets that they had to share with you? Now, if you would like to jumpstart your journey to attract the right man for you, stop attracting emotionally unavailable men, stop wasting your time, and having this really deep connected power couple relationship, then book your Magnetize the Man 15-minute breakthrough call with me.
Also, don't forget about our amazing VIP upgrade discounted offer where you can get a lifetime instant access to all expert interviews, 2 group support Q&A coaching calls with Anita to get customized support, a breakthrough session, and so many other juicy bonuses as well. So to claim that special discount while they're still in early bird phase, click the link below as well to get that VIP package upgrade.
Much love and talk soon. Mwah!